Hi everyone, I am going to make some Spanish style stew chicken today. It's actually one of my kids' favorite because it's loaded with some beans, so you get some extra protein. My son Marcus actually loves it because he's a power lifter, and increasing his proteins in his daily diet is super important to him. So for starters, I am going to go ahead and just put a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon of oil, into my frying pan because I just want to saute up my onions and garlic and sofrito. My sofrito I actually made from scratch myself. I use cilantro, or you could use cilantro. Blend that up with some onions and garlic and green peppers with a little bit of olive oil and some vinegar. And I usually keep mine in the refrigerator and just use them as I need them, so you can see. Seasoning. What I did with my meat earlier, I seasoned it up and I threw it in my cast iron skillet and put it in the oven on broil, just to kind of give it a little bit of color. You could braise it in the frying pan if you like, but I usually just like throwing it in the oven, because not only when I throw it in the oven, what happens is I get some of that juice that I can add back into my stew when I'm cooking it instead of using chicken broth. All right, so I have cooked red kidney beans. I have some seasoning over here, or some oregano, black pepper, garlic, salt, achotto, which is the red seasoning here. In here I have my chopped tomatoes, as well as a tablespoon of tomato paste. I cut up 2 small red potatoes and I chopped up my onion and my garlic. So again, like I said, I'm gonna throw in my onion and garlic first. All right, and this is stuff I love. It gives my food flavor. So I'm using like about 2 tablespoons, and just sauteing everything up. You know, there's not a lot of work that goes into doing this. All I did was I used some chicken thighs I had and a few chicken legs. And again, if you're big on eating more beans than meat, you can always do this without doing the chicken and use a vegetable broth and add vegetables in and make it into a vegetarian meal with your beans. And then what I would suggest you do is use red kidney beans and pink beans to give you some extra really good natural proteins. All right, so my onions are nice and soft, so they're getting limp. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken to the pot, and I want all my juice. And the nice thing about cooking stew, it's super easy and quick. You just want to get everything into the pot, all right, and then add. I'm gonna add my beans, and I have my beans with about, let's say, half a cup of waters in here. And I'm using cooked beans, so you want to make sure your beans are cooked. So you could either use the canned stuff, or you can go ahead and cook it from scratch. My chopped up tomato with my tomato paste, that goes in there. And then all my seasoning. And again, when you're cooking, what you want to do is, when you get everything into the pot, let it simmer for a little while. So I first start off with super high heat, and then I'm gonna turn it down to a medium low and let it simmer for about 30 minutes because I want the spices and everything to get inside of my chicken. Look at how pretty that color is. So I throw potatoes in. One, to give it a nice thicker flavor when the potatoes are cooked down into the sauce. And since this looks nice and thick, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to this, because I don't want all my water to cook out, and I like to kind of throw it in there so I get all that color from the beans. And then I'm gonna cover it, and like I said, let it simmer. Once this comes to a boil, I'm gonna come back and actually taste it to see if I need to add more salt to it or any additional seasoning. Remember, everybody's taste buds are different, so the key really is to always taste your food so it's exactly the way you like it. All right, you can follow a recipe all day long, but when you end up trying that food, you might go, oh, it's not the way I like it. because our taste buds are different. So taste your food in the cooking process and adjust your seasoning as needed. Okay, so again, see it's getting there. It's starting to boil up. So I'm gonna let it just boil for a couple of minutes and then reduce it and let it simmer. And once my food is done, I could serve this with rice. And if you want to change up your rice, when you cook your rice, add a little bit of turmeric and garlic to your rice, and you end up with yellow rice. Alrighty, turmeric is super good for you. So anyway, I hope you like this recipe. I will post the recipe when I get a chance this week, and you guys can try it out and tell me what you think.